Hey everyone, the e-bike cowboy here,
Hi, this is MX Electric.
and for today's mod series,
I'm going to show you how to do some shifter and throttle mods. If you're like me and you've had an issue with you start hitting bumps and you accidentally keep hitting your shifter and shifting gears when you don't want to, here was a little fix that I just messed with. I took and I cut an inch off the length of this, which I will show you the piece, just with a hacksaw. What you can do is, you take your grip, and if you've got a mirror there, you might have to move your wiring just a little bit. You can slide it so it's past the end of the handlebar, and then just make sure you got enough room to where you want to cut it so you don't want to accidentally cut into your handlebar. But it's nice because then tighten it back down and it holds it in place. Just take a hacksaw, take your time. Don't worry about if you don't cut it perfectly straight, because these are kind of a rubber with a hard plastic inner. And for this, I did the same thing with the throttle. I cut a 1/2 inch off the end of the throttle tube. Same thing, I moved the grip to the outside edge, and then you can just cut. This is like the grip part. I just cut it off with a pair of wire cutters. Same thing, I moved it to the end of the bar, tightened it down, cut it with a hacksaw, and when I needed to straighten it up, I just took this rasp, or you could take a file, and I made sure it's past the end of the handlebar, and I just got it till it was straight. It doesn't have to be perfect either. And then I have a vibrating sander, a finish sander, and I took and with either 220, 320 grit sandpaper, and I took and just sanded and kind of beveled the outside edge a little bit, and then just cleaned it, blew it out with the air compressor or whatever. It's just so there's no shavings. And so, because I always grab the throttle up here, but it was always kind of in the way and I didn't have as much grip room. So I just went and I will show you, I bought a piece of, these are ATV grips or motorcycle grips, whatever, but softer. And then I just took a pair of scissors, measured how long this was, how long I wanted it, and then cut it. Take a piece, cut off the end, and then take another piece, and then it's stiff to slide it on, but it's not, you can do it, it's not that hard. And it ain't going nowhere. You don't got to worry about safety wiring it or gluing it, because it ain't going to move, That moves, that's because you're in the middle of a big get off and you're holding on for dear life. But other than that, and then when you're done, it's hard to find the shorty double locking grips. So I just buy either a single or a double locking grip, measure what I want, take a hacksaw, same thing, cut it. I can use the rasp, then hit it with the sander just to kind of, makes it smooth. And then I just loosen, here's the bolt right here. And there's one down here on your mechanism for your shifter, and you loosen those up and that lets them come back and forth. I try to give it a little bit of gap between that and the brake clamp, just so in case you crash, or it's got a little movement, so instead of snapping it could always move it. So give it about a 1/4 inch or a little under 1/4 inch is fine. And then just make sure your wire isn't like sitting there rubbing on the your front brake. Or I guess a lot of people, this is the back brake, but we set ours up like motorcycles. I got tired of scaring myself and almost going over the bars because I thought that was the back brake, so I set them up. Front brake on the right side. That's real easy to do also. Loosen up the line, take it off. All you got to do is switch them. Just whatever you do, don't hit your lever. You're going to squirt a bunch of fluid out and get air bubbles in it. And then keep them up so they don't drop and let oil out of them, and then just switch them and tighten them back down, and that's it. Then you can have front brake on the right side. Then now once you've cut in your grip and the length you want it, by doing this I kept the throttle in the same position as it was, but I just made my grip an extra 1/2 inch more of grip room. And it's just more comfortable. You have more room to hold on your grip, and your throttle's not so, sticking out in the way. Put your end cap on, because then you know, okay, that's where that, and then you loosen back your throttle. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Here's the little tab that goes on the end. I had to take and file that down on the file back and forth because I had to shorten it a little bit because I shortened that. That goes on next. That's like your little washer so that it doesn't bind between the throttle and I'm dropping stuff over. The throttle and the grip. So now you put this on. Okay, put this back in the end. Okay, now that's where it, and you tighten up your grip. Now your grip, you definitely want to be tight. Okay, now, so you tighten that good and tight. Which these are really nice because on a motocross bike, we safety wire them. Some people use grip glue and you use safety wire, and these, that locks them on. And so now you can take, let me get my other, and then you just can loosen this back up a little bit. And then take any play between the two. Okay, that's good. I got that. And then you just tighten that down. Don't give it the turn of death, but get it snug. But it's, remember, it's by, throttle by wire. It's not like a cable like on a motorcycle, so it's nothing really to bind. And then now I end up with my grip can be a 1/2 inch longer. I still got plenty of throttle, but I have more room to grip on with my hand. And it was just more comfortable for me. And having the shifter shorter just really helped because I would do that 4 or 5 times a ride. I'd hit a bump and then click gears when I didn't want to. Now I can fit my whole hand on it. And if I want to, I can just move up and, shift it. And it's easy to do, and just take your time. And all you need is like a file, a hacksaw, and maybe a sander. But if you didn't have a sander, you could even use a piece of 2x4 or make a little sanding block and a piece of sandpaper to kind of smooth the edges, and then just clean it, and Windex or whatever you got at work, and put it on. And these are really easy to work with, and even if you mess up, the parts are cheap, so don't stress out. Everybody makes mistakes. But there's a lot of things you can do, and we're going to be doing these. Shane, the #1 cameraman, the video editor, he does everything. I wouldn't even be able to do this stuff without him. He's the man.
You're dang right.
And so we've done a lot of little updates just to make them more comfortable. So this was the tip of the day, and thank you so much. Too hip, gotta go.
Well, I hope you found this video helpful, and if you've been enjoying my content so far, please consider to subscribe. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, the link to my Instagram will be down in the description below. And if you want to purchase any bike from Juiced Bikes, the link to their website will also be down in the description below. Okay, see you later, my amigos.